What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am back again with another video, and as y'all can tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be explaining every location in LDOE. I know this video is going to look super long. Like, I think the video is probably going to be around 50 minutes to an hour, but if you're just starting out the game or you've been playing the game for a month or so and don't know every location, then this will explain to you every single location in the entire game. So you got a bit of time. Trust me, it is worth it to set the time aside to watch this video and learn pretty much anything and everything there is to learn about the locations in the game. I'm also going to have the timestamps for each specific location right here, so if you're just looking for one particular location, then you can go to the time marked on this timetable and you can find your location. Anyway, with all that said, let's hop right into the video. So the first of these locations I'm going to talk about is going to be the motel. The motel is a very easy beginner level location, so if you're just starting the game, then this will be a location you'll probably go to a lot to help you start off. Once you get to the motel, there's going to be this little blocked wall filled with trash and stuff. If you go outside right around, there's going to be like a gas cylinder you take to the location and then damage it a little bit. It'll explode and blow up the wall, and that'll give you access to the main part of the motel. There's going to be a few rooms, and at the end of that hallway there's going to be a weeper boss. I'm doing air quotes because the weeper is just a glorified floater bloater that screams and stuns you instead of jumping. Anyway, inside of these rooms there's going to be sections boarded off that sometimes they break by themselves and sometimes they'll have to be broken by an axe. And these can sometimes have some good loot. They can have armor, meds, very basic beginner level stuff, but if you have the level 1 burglary skill, there is a room that you need to have that skill to unlock, and there will be a guaranteed grenade in there every time, and if you have that skill, the grenades can add up. It's still to this day a really good way to get grenades. And then behind the motel is a basement area. I'm not sure if you can access this before you do in the storyline, but I think you can. Anyway, you go in there, there's going to be a couple zombies, a couple boxes, and at the very end, there's going to be a box with a couple screws. Screws are really only essential for the settlement, but if you stockpile now, when you finally do decide you want to invest your time in the settlement, the screws are going to help out a lot. There's also a car in the back that can have some pretty good loot. It's a car that's stuck in a pool. You can sometimes find like pistols and shotguns in there, so it's definitely worth checking out. Overall, the motel is a very good location, especially if you're a beginner. The zombies there aren't that hard. Now moving over, we have the gas station. This is another very easy location that'll kind of be accessed by beginners, but not. First thing you'll see at the gas station is a kind of slot machine, and if you've been playing for a little bit at least, you'll probably have acquired a couple of caps, and this is where you use the caps. I'd honestly save up until you have like 1,000 caps to actually use the slot machine, because if you just use 20 at a time, you're probably not going to win anything good at all. But the way this works is you could join, it'll automatically deposit the caps, and say you have 1,000, it'll spin it like one of those slot machines in Vegas, but this isn't Vegas. And depending on your luck, you'll get some different rewards. You'll go to a screen and you can play a little game to try and win different types of rewards. This is the main way of getting the ATV transmission, but you can also get some really cool rewards like weapons and armor here. And then a little bit further to the side, there's going to be a different area that you can go inside of. It'll take you to another kind of location. It'll be the freeway portion of it. This is where there are zombies and you'll fight them. You'll get some loot boxes and cars that have decent loot. And then at the very end, there's going to be a car that'll have the spark plug in it. The spark plug isn't really needed for anything apart from the settlement. So if you're not, like, just like the screws, if you're not doing the settlements, you can still grab them and stockpile them up. So when you start doing the settlement, you'll have them ready. But the freeway's still a pretty easy location, at the same difficulty as the motel. Anyway, back to the main part of the gas station. There's the Jane, the mechanic. You can go in there and give her spare chopper parts to level up your chopper. And that'll help it with stats like storage, fuel economy, durability, a bunch of stuff like that. So after you get your chopper, this is definitely something I recommend doing. There's also a little area to like show off bike skins. So if you see a skin you like, it'll tell you what skin it is, so you know what you're working for. And then another area is the VIP zone. The only way to access this is by buying something in the shop. You'll see like little purple crowns, and those crowns will tell you how much VIP points you're getting. And once you get any of those points, it'll be active for 7 days. You can go in the VIP zone for 7 days, and there's a bunch of different stuff you can do in there. Like there's a wheel you can spin that'll give you rations, coins, currency you can use to buy stuff at a shop. And then the higher up level you get, you'll get more stuff, like you can get free rewards, you can get the weapon repair bench, and then I think at the next level 15 you'll get a daily equalizer. And for those of you who don't know what the equalizer is, it's a weapon that doesn't have any durability, but you can only use it for 3 hours. So if you don't know already, the lab is in the port laboratory location. Off to the right side of your screen, there's going to be an entrance. And when you first go in, you're going to notice that when you first get to the elevator, you're going to notice that there's 3 different floors: the lobby, the actual laboratory floor, and then the 3rd floor. The lobby contains a weapon bench, a card system, very similar to Bunker Alpha, a shower, a janitor, a generator, and a perk selector. So basically, the weapon mod benches, it's the same thing you have at your base. The card system, as you go on throughout the floors, you will get cards by killing zombies that you can use to open these boxes that'll have some pretty cool rewards. They can have mostly armor-piercing weapons, but they'll also have like armor, regular weapons, heals, pretty rare resources, and stuff like that. They are typically very, very good boxes. You will also have the shower, and it's the same thing. You're stinky, you go in there, you shower. The janitor is going to have a trade where you give them 3 items that aren't necessarily the most common, but they'll still be kinda useful, but not the most rare stuff at the same time. And you can choose 3 things that you want. They'll sometimes be weapons, they'll sometimes be maps to give you XP, they'll sometimes be stuff you can trade in, they'll sometimes be hard mode items you can trade in, and I'll get to that in a second. And when I say hard mode items, I mean you can go to this lady and the trader, who is a trader, and you will trade in these 3 hard mode items to get basically cool rewards as well as perks. As you advance and level up it with your hard mode reputation, you will get different perks and debuffs that you can get rid of. So this is a really cool system. You can only select like however many you have options unlocked in your generator, but once you select a perk, then you will be able to get a chance to get it when you go on the floor, which I'll get to in a second. And then right next to it is the generator. You can upgrade it, you'll put in some resources and you'll upgrade it. Put in resources like seaweed or corn and stuff like that to be able to add more energy into the generator, which is needed to access some of the sectors. Now on to floor number 2, you're going to notice that the floor is divided into 4 different sections: A1, A2, B1, and B2. Both sections A2 and B2 have bosses at the end of the section, as well as A1 and B1 having mini bosses that are optional but still drop some pretty cool rewards. So as you go throughout section A1 and A2, you will get green cards, and as you go throughout section B1 and B2, you will get blue cards. And then the bosses at the end of the levels will also drop a flight controller, which is essential for the drones. So at the start of each 4 sections, you will get 3 perks. If you don't like the perks, then you can use 5 coins to refresh and get 3 different perks. And this is honestly if you have coins, this is what I recommend using them on. But also at the start of every floor, you will have a debuff. If you hit the question mark on the top of the screen, it will tell you what it is. So maybe sometimes the zombies will have 15 additional health, or when they get below a certain amount, they will do this much more damage. This is also where you have a chance of getting the perks that you get from the hard mode trader up on the 1st floor. So after you complete all 4 sections of easy mode for the very first time, you will be able to unlock hard mode. Hard mode is similar but also different than hard mode in Bunker Alpha. Basically the way this works is you cannot go through with regular weapons. You have to have Genesis armor piercing weapons. That's the equalizer, the sniper looking weapon. Basically, it'll have this symbol by the weapon if it is an armor-piercing weapon. But all of the zombies on this floor will have to be killed with armor-piercing weapons, so don't even bother bringing regular weapons in. And I wouldn't even bother doing this until you have a good stockpile of armor-piercing weapons. But apart from that, the bosses are definitely buffed. For example, the A2 boss has a special attack that instead of doing a certain amount of damage the first time, will insta-kill you on hard mode, and then whereas the B2 boss will only shoot 1 laser out of the 3, it'll shoot 2 out of the 3, so that makes it quite a bit harder too. But other than that, it's the same perk system. You can select 3 perks. If you don't like it, you can refresh, and you'll have different debuffs. And then the floor layout is the same. Anyway, apart from dropping the hard mode cards, which are green hard mode and blue hard mode card, you'll know it's a hard mode if it has like a red overlay on it. You can use those to unlock different hard mode boxes that'll have some other really cool loot, like a lot more armor-piercing weapons, fully modded regular weapons, Kevlar armor, steel. It's got some really, really cool rewards. But apart from dropping that, they will also drop the hard mode items. If you go through the entire floor, you will get a very good amount of hard mode items that you will exchange to get more perks and get more cool rewards. I will say personally that unless you're going for flight controllers, it is not worth killing the B2 hard mode boss. They'll only drop 5 to 6 hard mode cards, and they are not worth using your weapons on them. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, each floor will take a level of the generator. As for me, since I've leveled it up to level 3, there are 3 sections, and you put in seaweed and the other natural resources, and it will fill up the generator. and each little column is a zone. So when you go to one of the 4 zones, being like A1 or A2 or B1 or B2, it will take some energy out of the generator. So make sure that you have stuff there to be able to fill up the generator so you can do the floor more smoothly. It's also worth it to mention that up on the lobby level, there is a seaweed generator to where you can put in 2 different items that you'll get throughout the floor to grow seaweed. Also, something I forgot to mention is each of the 4 sections will have 3 chests. 2 of them you can get, but one of them you'll have to have the perk pass to get them, and the first of the 3 chests is guaranteed to have 3 of the rubber hoses in there. So if you're doing the settlements, this is a very good place to get rubber hoses. But these chests will have some really cool stuff, like they'll have a couple of cards. If you're on hard mode, they can have hard mode items. And they'll also have stuff like healing items and stuff that you can use to plug into the seaweed generator to make seaweed. And then I'm going to touch base real quick on floor 3. Floor 3 is after floor 2, and as of the time I'm recording this video, it's useless. There's a trolley in there, and you can put stuff in there, but there's a item in there that is not yet in the game, so I wouldn't recommend doing it. But as now, floor 3 is just there for looks, to be something TBA added in the future. Now I'm going to start off with the factory. The first thing you need to know about this is you're going to need at least 12 transistors when you go there to be able to fully access the location. When you get there, you're going to notice that the factory is closed, so you'll need to go to the left and open a room, go in, use the transistor to, I think, turn on the lights. Also in that left area, if you go a little bit further, you're going to find the Colonel Boss, so if you have to fight them for the Raiders tasks, that is where they are. And then you'll go back down to the right side of the factory and open up a room from the outside, and then turn off the gas or something with 3 of those transistors again, and then that'll open the door to the front and where you can now enter. You go in, and then on the right side there will be another area where you need to put in more transistors to be able to turn off the gas. Once the gas is turned off, you'll be able to enter the main part of the factory, which is the basement. Once down there, you'll notice a main room and then a couple side rooms. When you open the hallway, it's going to be filled with gas, so you're going to have to kind of run through that hallway, then get to the room on the other end and fight a couple zombies to be able to turn off the gas. Then the next room will have more zombies, and then the room after that will be another room of gas, so you have to kind of dash through there to turn off the electricity, and to then regress a room, turn on. It's honestly not as complicated as I'm making it sound, but you just kind of go back and forth turning off gas and electricity until you get to one of the last rooms. Anyway, at the end of all of those rooms, you're going to find a room that has a box in it, and that box has a chance, it's not guaranteed, I think it's like an 80% chance though, that it'll drop a antenna, and antennas are needed in the settlement to be able to level up some of your stuff. I also think you need it for your drone station, but I'm not sure. But I am sure that you'll need at least 20 of these satellites throughout your LDOE career. Also, at the end, there's a generator that'll power open the door. That's an easy way for you to get out so you're not just backtracking too much. At the end of the day, this is a very easy location, so you don't need to come in here with full SWAT armor and VSSs and scars. You can just come in here with military armor and a couple melee weapons. And now moving over to the sewer. The sewer is located inside the port. You will first need to assemble the drain to drain all the water out of the sewer. Once you enter, you're going to notice there's a plethora of different zombies. Some of them aren't necessarily the easiest, so when you go in there, I recommend at least military armor. You can use melees, but have a few guns there just in case. I recommend using guns your very first time so you can figure out the layout. I will paste the sewer layout on the screen right now. But something you're going to notice as you go throughout the sewer is it's one big circle, and there's 2 ladders areas. Whenever you enter the ladder areas, beware, because if you die in this area, you cannot come back to get your stuff. And it's going to be another big area of rooms. You'll fight through, you'll go through some zombies, get some smaller loot boxes on the way, and at the end there's going to be a box that'll have the main reward, and those boxes can contain stuff like asbestos that you'll need for the settlement, and then also stuff you'll need to be able to build up your boat. Once you leave this floor area, the ladder entrance will close and you can't enter it again, so be careful. Whenever you enter, make sure you don't accidentally click the icon to leave, because you cannot go back in. Anyway, halfway through like the main hallway area, there's also going to be a spot with water that'll damage you, so beware of that. If there's like a big deep water area, which there will be, it will damage you, so don't be just chilling in there. Also, throughout all of the floors in the entire location, there's going to be boxes scattered throughout the entire place. Those boxes will have stuff like maps that can give you XP for your port laboratory advancements. There will also be boxes that'll help you with delivery so you don't have to make them, which actually helps out a lot. And then you can also get stuff like rubber and glass. Like I said, the sewer is just one big circle area, and at the end of the circle there's going to be a third box that has items like asbestos and stuff that you can use for the boat. Overall, this is an easy location with the right supplies, and if you know what you're doing, like I said, I put a map earlier so you know what you're getting into. This isn't a location that you need to worry about. This isn't up to par with like Bunker Bravo or the laboratory, but it's still not the easiest location like, say, the gas station or the motel. So the first thing you need to know about the farm is you need to build a bridge to be able to enter the location. This isn't terribly expensive in terms of the resources needed, but it is kind of expensive in terms of the quantities. Like, I think you need 100 wood and a bunch of stone bricks, a hammer, a bunch of resources like that. Again, stuff that isn't hard to get, but you need quite a bit of it. Something that you need to probably bring is, for your first time or your first few times, it's best to bring military armor, as well as med kits just in case. You should be able to get this location done with weapons like machetes or katanas, but I do recommend bringing a Glock or two if it is your first time. So the first thing to know is that the farm is divided into 5 sections. There's 4 pin areas, and then there's a farmhouse area. So the way it works is there's 4 sections, kind of like in a 4x4 or in a 2x2 grid, and 3 out of those 4 sections will have a chest in it. Be careful, because these sections can either have raiders in them, savage giants, which deal a good amount of damage, as well as bulls that one hit will do. They're very slow, but one hit can do up to 90 damage, so it's honestly best to avoid them unless you have them for the raiders task. But 3 out of the 4 pins will have a box in it, but 1 out of the 4 boxes is guaranteed to have a key. So get that, hold on to it, it'll come into play later. In the top 2 pins, you'll notice that there's like a T kind of area in between the top 2, and in that area the Ravager will be moving around. The Ravager is this location's boss. It used to be so hard, but it's honestly gotten so much easier. If you want a more in-depth review on how to kill it, I will link that in the description. But basically, you just aggro it and then you run away. Once you get far enough away, it's going to start chasing after you. You run back towards it and you kind of try and finesse it to where it's spitting. You avoid the spit and then you just hit it with a katana. It's really easy to do if you know what you're doing. Anyway, once you kill it, at the very top middle of the map, you're going to notice a farmhouse that is projected by a frenzied giant. So once you get inside, you'll notice that there is a box, and in that box inside of the farmhouse is a guaranteed iron wire. This iron wire is needed a lot in the settlement, so it's good, even if you're not doing the settlement, to go there and get it so you build it up for when you are to start doing the settlement. You'll have some built up. Also, if you have lock, I think level 2 or 3, you'll be able to open another side door to the house that'll have a frenzied giant and fast whatever in it. And there will be 2 boxes in there, and those boxes can have some pretty good loot, like dog food. It can have red tickets, it can have machetes. It can also have dog treats, and I'm pretty sure this is the only free-to-play way, apart from the season pass, to actually get dog treats. So that's a good thing to hold on to. And then the main stuff that you're all here for, you're going to take the key, go to the top right of the base. There's going to be a barn. You use the key to open the barn door, and there's going to be 2 interesting things in there. On the top, there's going to be a chopper. Once you loot that chopper, it'll have stuff in there that you'll need for the chopper at your base, stuff like the gas tank, stuff like forks, engine parts, wheels. So if you're trying to do the chopper, this is a very good location and a very good box to open to be able to get the stuff for the chopper. And then you're also going to notice a blue box that you can pick up. What you're going to do is you're going to take that blue box and pick it up and put it on the saw area right outside of it. Be careful, because if you haven't cleared out this location, all of the zombies in this location, apart from the bulls, will run towards you. So I recommend clearing out this location before you even put it on there, because if it's cleared out, then maybe 2 or 3 zombies will come towards you, but if not, then you're going to have a whole horde, and it's easier to just pick them off separately than it is to have the whole horde running after you. So this box also has some pretty decent loot. You can get stuff like AKs, flare guns. This is the only free-to-play way to get the scythe, so that's pretty cool. It'll also have weapons, armor. It can have copper in there. It's a very diverse kind of box, so definitely worth it. Although the main loot you're going to be here is probably for the chopper. This loot is also pretty good. So apart from the chopper, the main use for this location is going to be raiders tasks, because there is 5 different raiders tasks here where you got to kill 3 bulls, get 3 puppies. 1 puppy will spawn randomly in a few different locations. It can spawn in one of the pins, and it can spawn in one of the houses, and it can spawn in the barn. So, but it used to be 2 that spawn. It's only 1, unfortunately. It should be 2, but it's only 1 that spawns there now. So this is the main place that you'll go to get the puppies for that raiders task. It's also a raiders task to kill the Ravager. It's another raiders task to kill 5 savage giants, and finally it's another raiders task to open the box. So this location is very essential in raiding. Also, there's a season event that has the farm that makes it a little bit easier. So you can do this location and get some good season points towards it. So that's another reason to do this location. Or unlike Bunker Bravo, it's not essential to do this location during the event because it's pretty easy as it is. And in terms of difficulty, I'm going to give this location a 5 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. If you know what you're doing, it's really, really easy. The only time it'll actually be kind of hard is if it's your first time and you're still trying to figure out the layout of the location and where everything is. But once you got all that down, it's a pretty easy location. So, first thing about Bunker Alpha is you have to find a Bunker A card, which you can just find right outside the bunker. So, get the card, put it in, and you're going to notice at the main area there are a couple lockers. You can open up those lockers and you'll find some loot in there, but you can also use this as another storage location. So you can like store tickets here and basically stuff you want to keep at the bunker. This is the only part of the bunker that doesn't reset when the location resets. The location will reset every 2 days after you put in the bunker code. So after you get all the stuff out of the loot terminals, you'll see a little terminal that you need to put in a code in, and it is the bunker code. The bunker code changes every 2 days. You can either find the bunker code in your radio at your base. If you have it built, it'll give you the bunker code up to date every day. Or you can go to like Discord or something. If you're in the LDOE Discord, you can type in bunker code and it will give you the bunker code. So that's very helpful. But anyway, once you put in the bunker code, it'll open up a little elevator that you can enter, and that will bring you into the lobby floor, or floor 1. You can clear out this floor. There's only going to be a couple zombies in there and a floater bloater. First kind of main room is this room over here. It has a shower, so that way if you're doing the bunker and if you get stinky or smelly, you can go over here and shower. Move over to the next room. This is an empty room. The room over that, you can't unlock this room until you get to the overseer and floor 2. Basically, what this room is there's a couple places you can either turn in hard mode items, which I'll get to, or tickets to help work you towards a floppy, which is another thing I'll get to. Or if you have weapon blueprints, you can turn them in to hopefully try and get new blueprints. You turn them in, you can get a chance at another one back. And then also this is where you activate hard mode. But moving on down up to the top, there's a long little hallway, and you will notice 3 terminals, and these are the ticket terminals, and this is going to be where you get the main loot. Going throughout the floors, you will get tickets based off of difficulty. So if you kill an easy zombie, you'll probably get a green ticket. If you kill an zombie, you'll get a yellow ticket, but if you kill a hard zombie, you'll get a red ticket. You need 20 green tickets to open the box, 25 yellow tickets to open a box, and then 30 red tickets to open a box. But first things first, you need to get tickets. So you go over towards the end of the hallway. There is another elevator which will have floors 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're on floor 1. So first thing, you move to floor 2. Basically, you go throughout the floor. There's zombies. I definitely recommend doing the wall trick. This is going to be a very helpful tool. If you don't know how to wall trick, I'll leave a link in the description for a video on a very detailed guide to wall trick. But once you go, you'll kill the zombies. They'll drop green, yellow, red tickets that you can save. Be careful because there are frenzied giants, and if you don't have the good amount of armor, they will hit you, and they do a lot of damage. If your armor is not military or better, they will one-shot you, and in military they still do like 80 damage. So it's best to either use long-range weapons or wall trick if you're doing the frenzied giants. There's also going to be other rooms you need to watch out for, like every floor is going to have a turret, so it's also, if you can't sneak by it, it's best to just take it out with a Glock or any other ranged weapon. Also, once you get to the end of floor 2, there's going to be a terminal that opens up another door that leads you back to the elevator. It's like one big circle, and once you get to the end, you can open up a terminal. Also in floor 2, right by the terminal, towards the bottom, is another room that'll have the overseer in it. Once you get to the overseer, that's how you can unlock that room with the hard mode and all that stuff. And also, it has a weapon modification bench, so if you find weapons throughout the floor, which you probably will, you can mod them at this bench without having to go home, and you can still use them there. Anyway, moving on, floor 3, this is the biggest floor in terms of size, I think, and there's a lot of zombies packed in here. What I recommend for this floor is the Sonoric trick. Basically, you go through, you kill the regular zombies, and all you leave left are floater bloaters or a couple other some people are able to just get like a bunch of spitters and abominations and all that stuff for the Sonoric trick, but personally what I just do is I do the frenzied giants. So you kill them all, then you get all the frenzied giants, and you go to a stall at this location of the map, and you'll hide behind there, and then once all those frenzied giants get up to you, you have 3 grenades, you toss the 3 grenades at them, and you can kill 9 frenzied giants with 3 grenades, and if you're lucky, that can be like 7 or 8 red tickets. And so also in hard mode, this is the floor that has the blind one boss. They are a very easy boss. You just go in. You need to have military armor or better when you're doing this, but you go in, they'll hit you 5 times, so you heal, and then they'll run to a wall. When they run to the wall, that's when they're vulnerable. If you shoot them with a Glock, it'll do like 2 damage, but if you shoot them while they're running in the wall, it'll do its normal 22. So you shoot them while they're running in the wall, do around 200 damage, and then they'll come back and hit you. I think once they get under 600 and once they get under 400, they will run to heal. When they do run to heal, you'll notice there's a little terminal. First time they heal, you do the terminal at the top, and then the second time you do the terminal at the side, and that will sound an alarm to stop their healing. And the blind one drops really good loot. They will drop hard mode items as well as a guaranteed 10 red tickets. You also have a chance of getting the blind one ahead, the Skull's bike skin, as well, and also Big Bones. So this is definitely a very good boss to do. And then also floor 4, I don't recommend doing this floor unless you get the turret task for raiding, because they got a bunch of turrets here. Once you go through, yeah, you'll get some tickets, but the main loot is at the end. There is a box that can drop up to 3 grenades, and then also you can get a good amount of steel from here. Like if you're lucky, you can get like 2 or 3 steel bars, as well as some copper and some aluminum. So if you're looking for a bunch of that, floor 4 is definitely worth checking out. But if you're mainly just doing it for the tickets, I don't recommend doing floor 4 because the tickets you get are not worth the firearms that you spend to get them. Now that I briefly explained all the floors, I'm going to explain real quick the Overseer room again. So there's this little terminal that can activate hard mode, and hard mode is exactly what it sounds like. It is hard mode. It'll make all the zombies take less damage from your weapon. So say you have a machete, it'll typically do 34 damage, and hard mode it'll do 13. So knowing the wall trick is definitely essential, because I think they do a bit more armor. Also, new zombies appear in this sector, the Exploder. They're basically glorified toxic abominations, but once they get to under 50 health, they will explode and release 3 parasites. You need a weapon for this because the parasites one parasite can at this location can insta-kill you, so beware that. It is possible on like floor 3 you can still do the Sonic trick, but it takes 4 grenades this time. And another thing to be wary about is Frenzied Giants. Once they get under 50 health, they still have their super strength, but they also get really, really fast to where you cannot outrun them. So if you're going to get them under 50 health, make sure you have a couple heals ready and a weapon if you're not going to wall trick. Hard mode doesn't drop tickets, but they drop hard mode items. They drop a dog tag, a chevron, or a military notebook. And you can take all these notebooks and chevrons and give them to the Overseer. And once you put in enough, you can work at like a reputation level, and you can get floppy disks. And then once you get further on, you can get mill cores, scars, and stuff like that. But once you get your floppy disk, you can turn it in right over here, and it will give you a floppy location. That is always going to be between the red and yellow limestone zones. And once you go there, you're going to see a floppy. You open it, and it has a guaranteed TC4, but it also has a chance at some pretty good weapons like mill cores, scars, AKs, VSSs, armor. So if you're looking for a C4, which if you start raiding, you're going to notice C4 goes away very quickly, go to this location. It is a great way to get C4, and honestly the main reason you do hard mode. If you do it correctly, you can get 25-ish red tickets, and then a lot of green tickets and yellow tickets, as well as a pretty good amount toward floppy. Also, the green, yellow, and red boxes have pretty good weapons. I don't know if the green box drops a guaranteed gun, the yellow box drops 2 guaranteed guns, and then the red box drops 4 guaranteed guns, 2 full armor sets, and then a chance at a C4, as well as some other stuff you'll need throughout your career. So if you're able to figure out how to wall trick and use melees very effectively at this location, then Bunker Alpha will be your best friend. Also, these red, green, and yellow boxes can drop chopper parts, so this is going to be your main way to get parts if you're trying to build up your chopper. So, like I said, it's a pretty hard location to get to. The first thing you need to do is you need to get the drone and complete the Acts storyline. Once you get the drone, you'll fly over and it will unlock the gate. And once you get in there, you're going to notice there's 2 kind of ways you can go. You can go further on towards like a cargo area, or you can go into a room. What I recommend first is going on over to that cargo area. It's going to be like a little kind of arena almost, but not. And once you clear it out, you're going to notice there's 3 containers. One container is going to be empty. Like, it might have something in there, like a note or something you can pick up. Like, I got a guitar from there once, and that was pretty cool. The second one will usually have a box for something like a crossbow, a saw blade mace, maybe a gun, and then, like, fiberglass or something like that. And then the third container, this is random by the way, it's not in order, but the third container will have a boss, either the Devourer or the Miner. So the Devourer is a pretty hard boss. I have a video somewhere else on my channel about how I like to defeat the Devourer, so if you want a little bit more of a detailed guide on defeating him, go check that out. And then the Miner is very similar to how it is in multiplayer if you've fought him before, but not at the same time. Once you defeat the Miner, it's gonna have the Miner's gonna have a bunch of its similar attacks, so you need a couple guns to be able to defeat him, because he is a very strong boss and not someone you want to mess around with. Anyway, once you defeat the Miner or the Devourer, they will drop a single item, and that is a key. Once you get the key, you can go inside the main hub location. There's going to be a couple strong zombies here, I'm not even going to lie. There's going to be spitters in there that shred your armor. There's going to be other zombies in there that do bleeding damage, so over time it'll do like 100 damage. It'll do like 20 damage every 3 seconds, totaling to 100. So make sure that you have a good armor, heals, and then also firearms. I don't recommend using melees at all. You're going to notice towards the entrance there's like a little terminal area. Don't worry about that until later. Also, make sure you bring your drone to this location. I always forget. And you're going to see a first set of ladder. You climb it, and you're going to have a little area up top. And you're going to notice, first thing you're going to notice is there's like spitters up there that do 40 damage a spit. So go ahead and clear them out first. And there's a bridge over down there that you can build, but it takes a lot of items that are required at the settlement. So again, you need to be pretty advanced at the settlement for this. You put them in, and this will unlock the other kind of building. And this building, you go in through the roof, there's like a little entrance, and there's going to be some spitters in there, there's going to be armored zombies in there, so also make sure you bring a Genesis armor-piercing weapon, because you'll need it to fight a few of these zombies. And the main part of this like building is it will drop a blueprint for your drone. So if you have the drone bench built, you can use this blueprint to add modifications to your drone, as well as parts to put in to modify the drone. So if you're into modifying the drone, this is a very important location. Anyway, back to the main building. Once you get up top, there's going to be you're going to notice a little gear and a loot box. Once you run to it, you hit the gear and you have your drone like equipped. It'll go and it will scan the loot box, and there's going to be 4 of these. The first 2 you can get both on top, but after that you kind of have to go past to the second half, and there's going to be like a room with a crashed helicopter. This will again have zombies in it that you need armor-piercing weapons for, so if you're going to go past the first 2 options of boxes you can get, you need to make sure that you have armor-piercing weapons to get these. But past that, there's going to be you get past the crashed helicopter, there's going to be a second ladder that takes you up to an area that you can scan to the 3rd box, and then there's another area that you need to get to the 4th box. But in order to do that, you have to put resources into this kind of crane almost to be able to build a bridge, and these resources are not easy to get. I myself still haven't gotten resources to get this, because you have to be like almost the farthest along you can in the settlement. This 4th box is probably the best box here, but not the best to get. Anyway, so once you use your drone, you scan the few that you want, you go back to the terminal I mentioned earlier, and something about the boxes is there's a 50-50 chance you get one box and a 50-50 chance you get another. So for the first section, you can either get a box that has like medical supplies, or a box that has armor or something like that. And then the second location, you get a box that has resources for the settlement, or a box that has like resources for your base. And it's a 50-50 chance based on which one you get. Me personally, I always go there for the settlement box, and if I don't have the settlement box there, I don't use the key, because like I said, the bosses are not easy and the key is hard to get. So personally, I don't waste the key on a box that I don't want. But you can scan it. After it's scanned, you go to the terminal, you put in the key, and it will show you what boxes you scanned. You can tap on the box and it will show you possible rewards, and whichever box you want to select, whichever box fits you best, you can select it, the box will drop, and then you open it and that'll have some of the stuff in there. This location is, I know I'm making it sound hard, but apart from the boss, once you do it 1 or 2 times, it is very, very simple. Honestly, this isn't a very essential location unless you're trying to get further in the settlement. But once you get, and you can unlock that bridge to get to the 4th box, and that 4th box will have like Genesis armor-piercing weapons. So if you're trying to do the lab in the future, this is a good thing to work to have another way to get Genesis weapons. I think the first box has a chance at like a vinyl disc. So if you're trying to collect all the vinyl discs, this is a way that you can get one of the specific discs from this location. Anyway, getting right into the Blackport PD location. This location's very simple, but that doesn't mean it isn't an essential location. When you enter, the first thing you're going to notice is on the left there is a raider, and on the right there are some conveyor belts. There's going to be 3 conveyor belts that are already fixed, and then 3 that are broken. Throughout your time doing this location,
it's best to definitely put the resources into the stuff for the conveyor belt, because having 5 of them is going to be a very big game changer for you. So after you get past this first initial room, you can start up. You can either go left or you can go right. If you go to the left side first, you're going to notice that there is a bunch of different rooms you can go through, and each of these different rooms is going to have different zombies. There's going to be some zombies asleep on the floor that if you run on top of them, they'll wake up. And then there's going to be a room with like a riot shield zombie. There's going to be a room with an explosive zombie. And once you go further on the left side towards the back, all the way to the back, you'll have seen pretty much every zombie this location has to offer. Again, with the most important probably being the riot shield zombie as well as the explosive zombie. Once you kill all of them, there will be some different boxes. It's possible to get meds from this. It's rare, but possible to get guns from this, and you'll be able to get some brown cards. Cards I'll get to in a second. If you move over to the right side, there's a room to the side with a hungry chomper. If you kill that hungry chomper and you have the burglary leveled up, you can actually open up the box in there and get a grenade. Not a guaranteed grenade, but still a decent way to get one. It'll probably drop one, and if not, it'll drop like military boots or something worth it. Once you get past it, there's a little hallway on the right side. In the hallway, there's a left area, which is like a big prison cell with a bunch of zombies in there. You can kill them. It's not necessarily essential. On the right side, there's going to be 6 different cells. These require keys. Each time the zombie PD resets, there will be 2 random zombies that'll drop a key, so you can get 2 keys, and 1 out of the 6 cells, you can use the keys to open the cells, and 1 out of the 6 cells is going to have the tank top. The tank top isn't a very good weapon, or isn't very good equipment. It's mainly just for looks. But as far as I know, this is the only way to get the tank top, so definitely something you can do. What I usually do is I'll save up my keys and wait till I have 6 to open them up and get it. Once you go further down, you'll see the main attraction, the Zombie PD Arena. So some things about the arena: the box, it will have 2 boxes in there. You can store stuff for waves, and something to know about this is these isn't like Bunker Alpha, where if you put the stuff in there, it'll stay, it will reset, so don't leave anything in there that you don't want to lose when the location resets. So once you start waves, there's going to be right by the entrance a little terminal where you can hit start, and a few zombies will start coming after you. Once you start the zombie waves, you can stop, but it will reset you back to 0, and it will require an electronic circuit to start again. So if you're planning on doing a heavy run, don't think that you can start it, do a little bit, stop, start it, pick up where you left off. You can't do that unless it is the police event where you can pause it in the season pass. So it's very good to do during the season event, because also explosive damage, which is one of the main ways that you'll be doing this location, is decreased. So if you're planning on doing a lot of waves, I definitely recommend doing this during the event. So like I said, a few strategies you can do is you can run and gun, just grab a few locks, shoot them, run, and then kill them eventually. This is going to be one of the most expensive ways to do it, but still probably the safest way. Another way that you can do it is the grenade strategy, where you have a grenade, you start it, you throw the grenade, wait, stand on top of it, wait till the zombies start hitting you, run away from the grenade, and then if you do it right, the grenade will explode, damaging killing the smaller zombies and damaging some of the bigger ones, or leaving the big ones with 40-ish damage. Only downside to this is the explosions is the riot zombies, since they're slower, they probably won't be damaged, so you still have to have a Glock to clean up the bigger zombies in the arena, as well as finish up the riot shield zombies. And then the other way is kind of the same thing with the grenade launcher. You have your grenade launcher, they'll run up to you, and then basically you blow yourself up, but you're also blowing them up. If you have on the right armor, which I recommend having either SWAT or military for this, it'll do 60-70 damage, and as soon as it blows up, you heal and you run away. This is the OG strategy, and if you guys are wanting to know how to get grenades and how to get grenade launchers and better ways to like use them and stuff, I will leave a video that I did specifically for that in the description, so after this you can go check it out, and hopefully that'll also be able to help you out. Something you'll notice is the zombies will either drop brown cards, green cards, or blue cards. The further on the waves get, the more likely you are to get good cards. So for the first 10 waves, you'll probably just get browns, and then eventually you'll start getting greens more often, and then purples more often. And if you do decide that you want to end up doing 99 waves, you'll probably end up with roughly 200 browns, maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 greens, and then if you're lucky, like 15 to 20 blue cards. Again, if you do 99 waves, this is the only way to get the police bike blueprint. by doing 99 waves. So if that's something you guys are also interested in doing, 99 waves is the only way to get it. Keep in mind, doing 99 waves is going to be a marathon and not a sprint. It's going to be something that you have to build up, have a good amount of resources for, and probably spend 45 minutes just straight up doing it. It's going to get repetitive, so it's not something that you can just decide one night you want to do and then bring a couple Glocks and do. This is a very challenging thing to do. After you finish wave 99, it will automatically open the doors, letting you out. So what you can do is, since you've probably accumulated a good amount of cards, you can go over to the raider that you saw at the entrance, and you can trade brown cards for green cards for blue cards, and blue cards for purple cards. You go over to the terminals that I was telling you about earlier. You can put in a brown card, and you can expect a little bit of meds, probably a shitty weapon like a bat or a crowbar, which I don't recommend opening up brown cards. You can plug in a green card, which has a melee weapon or a Glock, as well as a weapon box that's similar to the one you can get from the dealer, as well as a full military set and a gray card. The purple card you will put in, you can get either a full military set or a SWAT set, and you will get a guaranteed 2 guns. Now, granted, those guns may be the Winchester, one of those guns may be the Winchester, but you can still get some pretty good guns this way, as well as getting purple blueprints, which is very important, and then you can also get steel plates, which, if you're trying to upgrade your base, this is a very good place for it. And then purple cards, I don't recommend unless you are intentionally going for the weapon mods, because one purple card is 10 blue cards, meaning you can get 20 guns for one purple card, and one purple card only gives you 4 guns. So the main thing you're going to be getting from the purple box is going to be a purple weapon mod. And again, if you're looking for purple mods apart from the season pass, this is the best way to do it. So don't get me wrong, it's not a bad thing, but it's still pretty good. You can get modded weapons, you can get the mod, you can get SWAT, you can get military, you can get steel. This is a very good box still. Overall difficulty, if you're not doing the waves, I will give it a 3 out of 10, because still this location is pretty easy, especially if you know what you're doing. And then if you're doing waves, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 because of how difficult and mind-numbing it can be if you're doing a lot of waves. There is a Raiders task at this location to do 20 waves, and that you just bring a few guns. It's not very difficult to do, but if you're raiding and you get the location, or you get the Raiders task to do 20 waves, you do it at this location. So first thing you're going to do is you'll probably have like a melee weapon. I recommend clearing out all the zombies around the location. It's just going to be like floater bloaters and toxic spitters. Very, very easy. And once you kill all these zombies, you can there's 3 options you can do to combat the waves, because the way the witch works is you get it, you damage it a bit, and then a big wave of zombies will start coming after you. And if you're not, usually what you'll do is, if you have the shotgun spread shot, you can spread shot them and it'll do 80 damage and kill them, which is usually what I do. It's the best, but not a lot of people have spread shot, so there's 3 other ways you can do it. First thing is the more expensive. If you have 2 C4, you can put them on the little 2 cocoon areas on either side of the location, and it will blow them up. It will stop the hordes from coming entirely, but again, C4 is still a very expensive material, so if you don't have a lot of it, I don't recommend using it. So the other thing that I'd recommend is either using a grenade or a milcore. First thing you do is you'll attack the witch. As you can see, I'm using an unmodded shotgun. That's probably the best. It'll hit you, it'll probably do smaller hits, but its big hit will do 82 damage in military armor, and I think 68 in SWAT armor. So if you're earlier in the game, again, military armor is your best bet, because anything worse than that, it's going to be an insta-kill. So if it hits you, if you get your health below 82, heal immediately, and then just shoot it, run away, shoot it, run away. And then I think once it gets to under 160, it will run, go to its cave and start healing. The zombie hordes will start running after you. So one of the first things you can do is a grenade. Once you get them all kind of balled up, you can toss a grenade at your feet, wait a second, and then run, and hopefully that grenade will be able to blow up and kill most of them. In this video clip, I ran away too early, and if you're doing it with a grenade, you're probably going to need 2 sets of armor, so keep that in mind. But anyway, after you kill that first wave, the witch will come back out, healed, and then you just keep shooting it, and then repeat, rinse and repeat. And then I think once it gets to 800, that's when it'll run back into its cave to start healing again, and then the second wave will come out. Something that's a little bit more easier is if you have a milcore, you can kind of do the same thing, but the odds are you won't miss. So keep your health full. If you can, kill the wolves before the wave starts, because they do a good amount of damage. But once you gather them all together, they do a small amount of damage. They do too. So heal, you're full. You wait for them to all come near you. Hit the grenade launcher button. It will blow them all up. It'll get your health pretty low, but you need to heal immediately. And then after you can do that for wave 1 and for wave 2, but it will kill them, and then you just rinse and repeat. You kill the witch, you shoot it with the shotgun or with a pistol, and you can kill it. It's rare, but you can definitely get a witch head. What the witch head is you put it at your base, you put wood in it, and while the wood is burning the witch head, the horde will not come at your base. Like, not something that I recommend because it's a loss of wood, not really worth it. But it's a really cool decoration. But anyway, killing the witch is not necessarily the hardest if you have the right stuff. But again, not everyone has modded weapons, so if you die your first time, it is okay. It's definitely a boss that takes a little bit of time to get used to fighting. If you have, say, 40, 50 C4 lying around, and you're just wanting to kill the witch, then you can definitely use that. A lot of C4, but again, not a lot of people have a lot of C4. Grenades are a little bit easier to get your hands on, but a little bit harder to use, as like again in the video you can see I failed when I was using it. And the milk cores, they're pretty hard to get, only being able to get them from, I think, floppy disks as well as the season pass. But if you have a milk core lying around, it really only takes 2 shots from it to be able to kill the waves, and if you have a decent idea of what you're doing, it'll help out a lot. Overall, I give this difficulty of this location an 8 out of 10, simply because if you're doing it cheaply, it's going to be a little bit harder. But at the same time, this location is nowhere near impossible, even for beginners. First thing to note is whenever you go into Bunker Alpha for the very first time and you open the big door, there's going to be a horde that comes out at you. This isn't a really hard horde, but I wouldn't recommend using melees. Maybe have a gun set aside to be able to take out this horde. And then when you go in there, you're going to need to bring a generator to be able to open up the floor. This isn't like Bunker Alpha where you have to put in a password to be able to unlock it every 2 days. Once you put in the generator, it's open forever and you don't got to worry about it. As soon as you enter, you're going to notice you have like your main lobby floor, and it's a bit different from Bunker Alpha. You're going to notice 6 little substations that you can put a bunch of resources in to repair, and once you do that, you will get to be able to select 2 out of 6 perks. Quick note, the best time to do this is 100% during the season event. The season event, what it does is it will cut down the radiation in half, it will cut the zombies' health in half, and it would also make it where either the AK or the M16, it alternates every other season, but it'll make it where the either AK or M16 does double damage. So the best time to do this is 100% during the season event, because you also get season points as well as the buffs. When this isn't during the season event, this is a very, very hard location. There are players who've been playing this game for 6 years plus and still died at this location a lot of times, so I cannot stress enough how important it is if you're going to do this, make sure you're doing it during the season event. Now to get to the bunker itself. The bunker is very simple. You enter floor 2, you're going to have to enter floor 2 because you can't get to floor 3 until you complete floor 2, and you can't get to floor 4 until you complete floor 3, so you got to go in order. Anyway, start at floor 2, you're going to see a little terminal. You'll be able to select 2 perks that you have built up. Some of them are like turning off turrets or getting rid of water or clearing out the vents. They're actually very helpful, so make sure that before you even think about doing this, you have at least 2 ready to choose from. An important thing to know is this is a speedrun location. The longer you in there, the longer radiation will affect you, and it will cut down your max health. It will start off with you being fine. If you use like something like an anti-rad or an anti-rad pills, that's a way to help it, or CBRN or hazmat armor is a way to help combat it. But as you get further into the floor, you're going to notice radiation starts taking away at your max health. Something about anti-rad pills is you can use the pill and it will give you back some of your max health, but still the radiation will every few seconds cut it down shorter and shorter and shorter. You can get these anti-rad pills and anti-rads from either doing Bunker Bravo or also throughout the season pass is a good way to get them. And then Seaburn armor and hazmat armor are pretty hard to get. Again, I'm pretty sure you can get them through the season pass or also the laboratory. Those are some ways to combat it. Anyway, it's pretty simple. You go throughout the floor, and then once you get there, you're going to see a boss at the end of each floor. Starting off with the floor 2 boss is the Liquidator. This is probably the easiest out of the 3. Once you go in there in the boss room, you're going to notice there's 3 zombies in there, and once you take out 2 of the 3, then the Liquidator boss will come out of the wall. What you're going to notice is on the left side, there are cages with 3 chickens in them. You'll let out the 3 chickens and then just start firing at the Liquidator. He'll start attacking you. There's no real strategy, but every now and again he'll go and eat a chicken, so it'll give you time to organize your inventory, get yourself settled, and start fire at him. And whenever you
kill the liquidator, it will finish the floor, the radiation will stop, and what you can do is at the end, you'll send up a box to the lobby, which is where you will claim your rewards. And then the floor 3 boss is the Butcher. You're going to go in there. It's going to have, I think, 1,000 health, and then when you take it down to 800, it'll open a door releasing 3 riot shield zombies. When you take it down to 600, it'll open a door releasing, I think, an exploder. And then 400, it will open a door releasing, I believe, a toxic spewer, and then 200 will open a door releasing a slasher. And then another thing that's important about this boss is, as well as that, is every now and again, once you get close to him, he will scream, and when he screams, it stuns you for a decent amount of time. So when he screams, what you gotta do is you gotta make sure you're behind a pillar. If you're behind a pillar, away from the scream, then the scream will not stun you. So what you gotta do is you gotta shoot at the zombies that are coming after you, as well as the liquidator, and when it screams, hide behind it. It's in theory a simple boss, but still very, very hard with everything going at you. And then floor 4 boss, the Cocoon, you go in there. The first thing you do, you gotta have like an M16 or an AK or a weapon that fires very fast and does not miss much. What you got to do is you got to go in, you turn off one, there's 3 vents, you turn off one of the 3 vents, and then you just hit auto, and it'll start shooting the Cocoon. The Cocoon's going to shoot out parasites, but if you have a weapon good enough, it'll shoot at the parasites as well as the Cocoon. Later throughout the boss fight, this same boss fight, you'll notice it starts to get a little bit colder. If that happens, what you do is you go and you close a second vent, and then you keep doing it, and then by then you should have been able to kill him and get to the end of the floor and reset and send your loot up to the top. Another quick note, these floors, if you die once, you can go back and get your stuff and try it again a second time. Again, it's a speed run, but if you die more than 1 time, it's best to just reset the floor. So say you're on floor 2, you go halfway, you die, you come back, you can get your stuff back and you can continue going. It'll be a little bit harder, but it's still doable. But if you were to die again after that, it's best to just grab your stuff, cut your losses, and reset the floor, because after that it's nearly impossible. Bunker Bravo is a very, very essential location for getting your ATV, so if that is something you're wanting to do, which odds are if you're playing the game that's something you want to do, you will need to do this location a good couple of times, because I think this is the only place apart from the season pass you can get gas cylinders, and then you can also get batteries, engine parts, other stuff that you'll need for the ATV. The ATV is this location's main purpose, so, and again, it's best to do this during the season event, because while yes, you can get the ATV rewards, you're also getting season points, so that'll help it out a bit. Overall, in difficulty, I give this location a 7 out of 10 with the season pass and a 10 out of 10 without the season pass. I was doing this when it wasn't during the event, and I died a few times. It was very hard, and it is not an easy location. So keep that in mind. If you die your first few times, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It'll take a little bit of getting into, but you'll get there eventually. And that's the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. I know this video was, again, very, very long, but if you did enjoy and you did find this video helpful, be sure to leave a like as well as subscribe. Also, join the Discord. Link for that will be in the description. Trying to build up a community there, so if that's something you're interested in, be sure to check that out. But anyway, y'all, that is all for me. I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of y'all's day. I'm out. Peace.